Hello, yes, it's working this time. So I'm just jumping on quickly after just finishing a talk where we dove into the elements of suffering, and it reminded me of the many moments in this life I have really lived on the edge. I've really lived this life on the razor's edge. So many stories I could tell you, but that's not what I'm going to do right now. Before I go any further, hit the thumbs up and the subscribe if you like this message. So yes, profound pointers in the moments of deep suffering, the extremes of life, the extremes of being in so many situations where it just wasn't safe. You know, I didn't live a life of safety. It was never safe in the circumstantial world, right? But the safety is always in the truth, always in the depth. So even in the darkest moments, in the moments of extreme suffering, is really where I've found the most willingness to really ask the questions inside my own heart, inside my own being. Like, really, who am I? And what is the cause? What is the cause of this suffering experience? Is it really the situation around, the circumstances? Is it really those circumstances that are causing the suffering here? Or is there something for me to see? And I can say that, you know, I was just part of an interview like an hour ago, and you'll find out soon who with. And we were talking about my time in a Japanese prison, right? In the most extreme of suffering. And there have been lots of different variations of suffering in this life, you know, the suffering we can go through in relationships. Oh, the emotional suffering and all kinds of variations. However, in that situation in jail, it was on every level. It was on the mental level, the extremes of longing for a different experience than the one I was having, right? And on the emotional level, not being able to really cope with the ongoing suffering. And on the physical level also, the pain, the physical pain. And right in the midst of all of that, which was prolonged for a long time, right in the midst of that, there was a shift inside of me, inside of here, right? Where I entered another room. Now I could explain, I could go into how that all, but you know, it's in several of my interviews, and it's also in the one that's coming up that will be published next week. I could go into all of that, how that occurred, me shifting into another room of consciousness, actually another level of what we are, like another dimension of what we are, which is all, it's nothing special to me, of course, because what I am has to be what you are. How could it be different, ultimately? But the many levels of what we are, right? So on the ground floor of our moment-to-moment experience, we're very much experiencing a linear experience of life where it goes to the next experience and the next experience and the next. So within that, there was an experience. However, within that, there was just simply going from that to that. We can call it the higher consciousness, or we can call it the depth of what we are. But a room opened. And in that room, there was only freedom. There was no more story and nobody there to, right? So the willingness to actually give up in that moment, to give up the fight, to give up the resistance, to give up the futility of the struggle with what is. To be willing to, die, we can say die, because there's a death of who you are. There's a death on the ego level in that moment when you just give up, 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 and this opens, this like slips into this, I'm going to call it a room. It's not really a room, but it's as if you slip through and find yourself in another room. Suffering calls you, asks you, invites you to surrender to a greater the source of who you are, the greater whatever it is that made you, whatever it is that gives you the next heartbeat, the next breath, whatever it is that is breathing you right now. To give up to that. Suffering is like the invitation to give up. But how long do you hold on fighting with what is? I should have turned that off. I should have turned it off. I don't know. How long do you hold on? How long do you struggle? How long do you stay in trying to get a different experience? How long do you keep on fighting with what is? How long do you keep going round in the same cycle until you're ready to go, I'm willing to be shown. Show me, 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 show me. And you are available. And the whole space opens and reveals to you that in this moment there's actually nothing going on. There's just being here. Are you willing to be shown the way? Or are you in the way with everything that you already know how it should be and know how it is supposed to be and know all those things? Are you in the way of all that? Or are you willing to be shown the way? Often we become willing when we're suffering enough. Like anything, I'll do anything, whatever it takes to end the suffering. I'm willing to die. I'm willing to die. Whatever it takes, I need to know the truth. Only then are you willing to see. And in this seeing, there is an offering. Do you want the truth or the lie? I ask you, what do you want? The truth, no matter what it is? Do you want the truth, whatever it is, more than getting what you want? Do you want the truth or the lie? Because the lie might be what your small self wants to keep it going. And in the face of truth, you may have to drop, give up something you're holding tight, some story, some grip, you might have to give it up. But in that giving up, you give up the source of your pain. It doesn't mean that pain will not be here anymore. It means that you will be here for pain. To meet life in truth. What do you want? The truth or the lie? There is so much I could say about this. I will continue. There's a juicy interview coming up. It will be published next week, and I have a 6-day retreat coming up in April. And I also offer individual sessions in case you like the taste. Come back soon. Ciao. The truth or the lie? What has more value for you? Ciao.